those that are new here, I'm Karen, and we are here every Monday at 7 p.m. Mountain Time to give you an opportunity to connect and support each other and just remind you that you're not alone as we are rising up together. I want to share that I had a fabulous weekend. Sandra and I hosted our first Life Force Canada gathering at Sandra's beautiful home here in Calgary. And we had a wonderful turnout. Even though it rained for a little bit, everyone stayed to enjoy the high vibes, the connection, and of course, lots of hugs were given out. Our intention was really to present more information on who we are and what we're about, and to really recruit more people into our Plan Council Alberta and our committees, and it was a great success. So thank you, Sandra, for hosting in your beautiful home. It was amazing. And we are co-creating a self-governing system where each province stands on their own, yet is united. We're all united as a country. So we're really focusing on our towns, our cities, our provinces in creating their sovereign councils, what we call our plan councils. We have a right to hold our public servants accountable for infringing upon our natural rights. So the plan councils use the law of the land, being natural law, which is more powerful than what our de facto government has been using, the law of the sea, which is maritime law. And so to learn more about your plan councils in your town or your province, I recommend that you join the weekly provincial calls, which are posted in the G-Force network. And if you've signed up through our website, lifeforcecanada.ca, you will definitely be receiving an email reminder on how to connect to the Plan Council calls within your province. So I just have a few things to share, and then we're going to have an open forum where you can ask questions. And at the end, I offer a 10-minute meditation. So if you're feeling stress, uncertainty about the future, meditation will help you immensely. Now, again, if you haven't signed up through our website, I recommend you do, as that's how you're going to receive all the updates and really be connected to our tribe here across Canada. And you may wonder why I repeat this first part every Monday. It's because I do receive emails almost daily asking me, Karen, is there a replay of Monday's call? Because I'm not able to join you on Monday. And yes, there is. Just subscribe to our Life Force Canada YouTube channel. I do recommend for anyone new here that you do listen to past videos, especially if you want to learn about who we are and our mission, just to get caught up. And I'm going to take a moment and answer some questions. I have quite a few questions here that have been brought to my attention, and some people were asking on the weekend as well, and they're from new members. So as I'm moving through these questions, I would love for other members to, if I'm complete in answering it and you have something else you want to add to what I've just shared, just raise your hand and let me know. And if you are someone new and you have a question, you can just click on the reactions button at the bottom of the page here on the Zoom and just click on raise your hand, and then I will bring you forward. Just make sure that your question is relevant to the topic, the question that I'm answering in that moment, and then we can move forward, because I do find that a lot of people are asking these questions, and so it's just great to have it all in one space and place right here on the call tonight. Now, one of the questions that I get is, how did this group start and how did I get involved? And that was what came up too prior to Saturday. And I shared the story, and I want to share it here so that we do have it recorded too. When all this was going down way back in April of last year, there were so many videos, and I was being inundated, as you all probably were at the same time. And I went into meditation, and I went into meditation and I asked Source, I want to go right to the top. I want to go right to the truth. And I want to cut out all of this and within moments, really, I was on Twitter, and it was the QAnon movement, and what I loved about all of that was it was so many people were waking up around the world. It was just great to see how so many people were asking the same questions, and you could see the awakening happening, the great awakening happening. And there's this link, and it went to Kim Gogan, and she was talking about the real financial system, the real financial story. And I had truth bombs all over my body. And I'm like, yes, thank you, Source, for guiding me to this amazing woman. I'd never heard of it before. And I stepped in, and then I discovered the Life Force Watch app at the time. And I thought, okay, there's all these different countries that are joining, and they have so many people that are involved. I wonder if Canada has a group. And there was, Life Force Canada was there, but there was probably maybe 14 people. Nobody was chatting, no one was connecting really. And so I put a link and said, hey, I want to have a Zoom call on Monday night. Sandra was there, and I had connected with her. And then we had a Zoom call, and I said to her, you know what, I'm just feeling drawn to put my life, everything that I was doing, kind of on hold, step into this. And I know that there's going to be many souls across Canada that are going to be feeling alone right now. And we need to bring our tribe together. And Sandra's, yes, we do. And she committed the same as me to being on these calls every Monday. And so we've been here since last September. And it's been an incredible journey. I'm meeting so many amazing people, and we are all making it happen together. We are all taking inspired action to free all of us from human slavery in this country. That is our mission. That is our purpose, that we are meant to be sovereign. We're meant to be free. And this is why we're here. Okay, so second question, who is Kim? If you signed up via our Life Force Canada website, you're going to receive an email with links to interviews, to UNN, to Life Force Global, which are all about who Kim is. And she has an incredible story. I recommend you do your own research 100%. It's really important to know that every bank in the world is connected to one computer system. Kim had been in the banking system for a while, and there was one man in control of that whole entire system. His name was Marduk, and he was the one who plotted the One World Order. He wrote the book Art of War under the name Sun Tzu, and those following his legacy are still trying to execute the plan. That's what Sherry was talking about in regards to what's happening in BC. Their plan, right, is to create a genocide, to end all humanity, but they are not going to win. We already won. We are sovereign. So he's now deceased, and Kim has now replaced him, and she is interim head of state. And she will not allow the plan of the One World Order to be executed. So she created Life Force Global with Stefan Rowe, and there are many countries involved creating their sovereign assemblies, including us in Canada. We call them plan councils. So Kim is really the first person to hold this seat who wants to end the human enslavement that has existed on our planet for over 16,000 years. And I know it's hard to believe, but did you ever think you'd be wearing a mask in 2021? I mean, I've never worn one, but you know what I mean, right? It's hard to believe, right? Did you ever think that you'd be forced to be vaccinated? It's hard to believe. So as much as we've been taught, you know, that there is a lie that that we're experiencing, there are many lies, and the truth is showing itself. That truth can still shock us, but we need to have an open mind right now, and our human existence really depends on that, right? Okay, the next question I got was, how do they become the ones that we look for guidance? So again, you can check out the links that I mentioned. My guidance really comes from Source, and Source led me to Kim, so I trust Source. What I focus on is what I can do right now. I do not wait for others. I listen to my own intuition, and I suggest that you all do the same. If your heart has guided you here, there is a reason, right? There's a reason why you're here. And this is about you stepping into your soul purpose, which is very, very exciting. So I got another question. Is this group real? Okay, I'm just going to pinch myself. Pinch, pinch, pinch. Yes, it is. So can you actually make this happen? That's another question. Can you actually make this happen, or is this just a dream that is a hopeful dream? I do believe that we are waking up from the dream that we've been in. And we only make this happen together. And we can only come together when we have trust. You can see so much separation in the world right now. How many people are divided? You're probably experiencing division in your own family and friends. We accept everyone here at Life Force Canada. Everyone here is on their own journey, and we cannot judge anyone. Fear of another is what has kept us under their spell of control. So in the eyes of God, we are all mirrors of each other. So as I make it happen, and you make it happen, and you make it happen, together we are going to manifest a new earth. That's the power that we all have. And okay, let's just take a deep breath in. A deep breath of that life force energy that sustains us. Another question that I received was, what are the actual timelines for these things to take place? All I can say is, don't get caught up on dates. So many say this is going to happen on this date, and this is going to happen on that date. Something really important is going to happen on that date. And then if it doesn't happen, what happens? People can get disappointed, right? So I'm not really sure what specifically this question was referring to. My answer to this would be that we're in a transitional time right now. And the time will take as long as it needs in order for all of us to move out of fear, and into love, to loving ourselves, right? We're being called to awaken our inner leader, to stop focusing on the outer authority, to focus on our own soul force. So from a spiritual perspective, and I've said this quite a few times now, is that we are in end times, and the time of the illusion is what's over. So it is the dark forces end times. It's not our end times. It's not your end times. To me, it's the beginning. We're in the beginning of a whole new level of creation, co-creation together. It is when all the truth will be revealed, and how long that takes is unknown. Because as you can see, there's so many people wearing the mask, and they do not want to speak truth, right? Many are getting the jab because they don't want to feel the truth. You're right, John. Great things do take time. So that's why it's important for each of us to do our inner work right now, so that the voice of our inner demon, the devil on the shoulder, that fallen angel, does not take you down, because they're still going to try to execute the plan. This is a third dimension that is constructed through a fear-based matrix. And you are here to activate a new timeline through your higher thoughts. We are being asked to step into trust, and to trust that your soul has led you here for a reason. And you get to take action in the 9 pillars. You're here to create the new Canada. We need everyone being a part of it. Whether you want to be a part of the health and wellness think tank, the committees, in a council, whether you want to be a part of creating the new level of law enforcement, teaching natural law, You're here to become so focused on that task that's before you that you do not even care what the television is saying anymore. You no longer allow their story to affect you negatively. Dwayne said he was at our dad's in North Vancouver, and our dad has a radio on all day long, and he's just getting inundated with these thought programs, and that's what they are. Get involved so deeply with your passion in creating the new earth and loving the people in your life that nothing else matters, right? Focus on the bright future. They don't want us to see the bright future. They just want us to see fear, 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 and how they're taking our power away. When you tune into yourself, you say, no, that cannot happen. You cannot take my power away. I own my power. I am the power. I am sovereign. I'm a living man. I'm a living woman. And as you shift your frequency, their frequency begins to dissolve and they begin to lose power. I had a client say to me the other day, I'm finally experiencing peace in my body. That is big. That is what needs to be celebrated. Okay. Our next question that I received was, I've never heard of this group before. Are you a scam? Okay, a scam is when people are trying to take your money. We have never asked for any money from anyone. All we're asking from you is to take inspired action and step into your soul purpose, the reason you were brought to this earth. You were brought here for this time. So no more watching the news or listening to the radio. Turn the other way and ask yourself, what can I do to support others who want to be free of human slavery? So no, we are not a scam. The next question I received is, there's lots of private meetings. Why isn't everyone involved if you're open and transparent? I can only speak for our Alberta Council meetings, which are public every Tuesday. Since we started last year, I believe we've only had one or two that have been private. Other than that, every meeting really has been on Zoom and is open to the public, including what we vote on. You need to remember that, once we do have an office, there's going to be moments, where we're discussing things in private, like, where should we have the next Life Force Canada gathering? What do we need to get from Staples? Will we need to rent a sound system? Remember, the calls that you have the ability to step in and listen to are those live provincial Zoom calls. And you receive the link for those, and that Zoom link that you receive is the same link for every provincial call. For those who have the Zoom link posted, some of the provinces just have a actual website that you sign up into. But you definitely have a say. Okay. Thank you, Sturgeon County, Alberta. The next question is, there's talk about ratifying the provinces. How long does this take? Maybe you can answer this one, Sandra.
We've been in the process. We've submitted for ratification, but we have to backtrack a little because some new guidelines just came out. So we're doing our ratification submission, and we are waiting on some more documents that have to be signed for that process. Once it's submitted, Alberta in particular will probably have to go through a tribunal process of some sort, because it's being contested by another assembly for the same jurisdiction. I won't go into detail about that at this time. So that's just going to delay our process a little bit. But we've kind of gone through the first step already, and there's a lot of assemblies like us, and almost all the assemblies in Canada were perched on the edge of being officially ratified. And as long as the other provinces don't encounter what we have, they are very close to getting the stamp as well. I believe they're in the same position where they're waiting on the official from the GIA. so that they can actually complete it. So from start to finish, when you do if you were thinking of forming an assembly in your area, you just need to start gathering people together to meet and have an agreement. They've simplified the process a lot of going through getting ratification, but it is a process. You can start as simple as 3 people and just doing a needs assessment in your community, and then working with your plan council, kind of form, I guess it would be called somewhat of a needs assessment committee. You're a group of people together. It's a you're talking about websites, you're talking about the agreement and putting in notices, and there's a lawful component and there is a operational component. Operational is things like having a mailbox and having a website and having forms and access to certain information on your website, having regular meetings. It's up to you how long it takes. GSD website, they have a assembly register now there where they have assemblies and sort of their status pending or ratification submitted, or they're officially ratified. There are officially 5 states that have been ratified, and I'm sure that there's more in progress. So I yield. I think that's answered the question.
Absolutely, Sandra. Thank you. So somebody just asked, how do we find our provincial group? So Barbara, there is a plancouncilbc.ca, and you can sign up into their website, and you can connect into their meet and greet Zoom calls. I do believe they're on Wednesday. You'll also be receiving an email. In Life First Canada, we're sending out emails, but we didn't want to inundate everyone every day. So I do believe you'll be receiving an email every second day. It does take a little bit of time to move through, but all the information does come through are the emails. So check maybe spam or your junk folder to make sure that you're receiving all of the emails as well. Yes, thank you. Great question. So what about the groups and committees? So the think tanks are actually starting, I do believe, next week. Yes. So September 1st is the first one, is law enforcement group on Wednesday. And Steve has graciously, he's been the facilitator of the think tank for the law enforcement group. And he has stated that he is going to be allowing everyone who wants to join that group to listen in on how we create cease and desist orders. And these cease and desist orders are not going, we're not submitting them to the government, because if we submit them to the government, nothing really happens. So they're going to be submitted to Kim and the GIA. So that's how that's going to work. But you'll be able to be a part of that and see and to really witness what cease and desist orders are being created in Canada, and what are those dark forces are no longer allowed to do anymore. And then, so then Dwayne has the free energy think tank starting next week on September the 2nd, right, Dwayne? And that's at noon Mountain Time. And you'll be receiving a email reminder. I'll be sending that out probably on Sunday. And it's actually a web page. And on that web page is a list of all the different think tanks: health and wellness, education. Parents need to, have some assistance in regards to getting their kids out of the public school system. We talk about that. We have the agriculture, the food and supply think tank. That's on for next Friday. I'll be leading that, and that's on at noon. And it's really important to be preparing, because inflation is going crazy right now, and food shortages potentially, right? So we need to start preparing, and that's what we talk about on that call. Plus, we're going to be sharing with you a powerful project we've got going on here in Alberta, because we're empowering every province to start growing their own food. We need to stop relying on the trucking industry from Mexico, shipping, anything like that, because if it stops at the border, then it's going to be chaos for all of us here. So we need to really start creating those systems and the facilities to grow our own food, and it is a definite possibility. And so right now we've got Jason and Ryan and Willa. We've got myself in there. There's quite a few people, Thomas and Robin from Medicine Hat, Arnold, Alan. And so that's a really big project. And so a lot of the provinces are starting to say, yes, we need to do the same thing. So it's going to be a great call to have everybody on and learning about what we can do and how we can create these really large greenhouses, and they can be used all year round. So it's very, very exciting. Okay. So the next question I have is, how did the current council members become council members if no one knew you existed? Who elected you? Okay, so we started this last September. We needed to create sovereign councils because this is what Life Force Global is all about in regards to how do we step into sovereignty. If you noticed in Europe many years ago, right when the wall came down, everyone's like, yay, all excited, stepping into freedom. Well, they did not have a plan, a new social structure in place. So what happens if you don't have anything in place is the old structure just takes a hold again, because that's all people know. And most people don't know that there is actually another structure that we can step into that's for the people, by the people. We don't need a federal government anymore. We never have. We don't need a provincial government. We don't need premiers. We never have. You are the authority of your own life. So we're bringing prosperity and the power back to the town, back to the community. You are the one now that knows exactly what your town needs. And so we're all going to be serving and stepping into contributionism, and it's very, very exciting. So we needed to create sovereign councils and new social structures so that we could get ratified in the Hall of Records. It's important to remember that we're just interim council members. This is not where I'm stepping into for my whole life here. When new people join us and they have more experience and they're really excited to be a part of this, and they have a high level of integrity, they're welcome to take our place. 100%, right?
Yeah, that was why we had this event on the weekend. Is we need more people. Many of us are wearing several hats, doing several jobs at one time, and we're spread a little thin, and we need people perhaps more suited to some of the roles. For example, I'm the treasurer of the Alberta Plan Council. I have some skills. I have the ability to do the job. It's not necessarily my area of passion. We have managed to put together a preliminary operating budget with a group of us. So a lot of decisions are by committee, but we can actually create whatever structure we want within our own councils. We can make that change. We're a steering group until such time as we're officially ratified. So we voted ourselves in, if that's the question of who voted for you. We're just trying to get more people, and the more people that are members and the more people that have a say, the better. It's about, and that's why we're on a recruitment drive. We need more bodies. We need more interested people, talented people, passionate people. Thanks, I yield.
Thank you so much, Sandra.
Good evening, everyone. I want to just kind of address to the newbies. This is your first time here. I just want to let you know, and when Karen, who is my sister, she's been at it for quite a while with Sandra, and I wasn't quite sure what Life Force Canada really represented. And she was encouraging me to get on board, but I had a few filters, but it wasn't really until I recognized that this is an opportunity to step in to a community. And this community is like a lifeboat for a very, very turbulent time and the waters of the ocean. I'm sure a lot of you are feeling it. And you might be hearing Karen and Sandra talk about some of these nebulous concepts that you've never heard of before. However, it is about you not just being an observer and just kind of tuning in every Monday, but truly an opportunity to step forward in your purpose and your passion. You might be going through the dark night right now. You might be going through your perfect storm. You might have been just laid off, or maybe your decision to not take the jab has put your career in limbo, or you're being fired, or there's so much pressure that you're dealing with. Well, Life Force Canada, and Karen has alluded to this, there are no accidents. There's a reason that you're here. And it's not just to be an observer. Your soul is calling you to step up and be a part of something. And right now, it is just about looking into what your purpose and passion is, because Life Force Canada is not a political party. We're not here to dethrone the existing government. We believe that there's going to be an implosion of the existing government worldwide. And that's going to make room for a new way of governance. And that's essentially what Karen was talking about in regards to being sovereign. And we are an educational platform for you to learn about what sovereignty truly represents and what community truly represents and what it means to have a family that truly gets the hardship and challenges and emotional struggle that this reality is creating. As dark as it is out there, we want Life Force Canada to truly be that life force out there in the storm. And there's a light, there's a beacon off on the horizon. And that's who we want to represent, because there are so many people out there right now that are in a lot of pain and they don't know where to turn. And a lot of people are feeling so alone right now. And that is why Life Force Canada, for me, was a reason to get involved. And when the think tanks emerged and the 9 pillars of how you can get involved, there's a passion that you have. And there's a place for you in Life Force Canada with that passion. And so if this is your first time or you've been with Life Force for a little while, dig into it, do your due diligence, ask questions. It's really important. But more than that, find a way to get involved and reach out to those that you too feel that they're lost and they don't know where to go. Let them know about Life Force Canada, because we need each other right now. We need each other more than ever. And we need to rise together to be this unified force of prosperity and potential and love and generosity and true possibility. And that's what we're all here to do. And there are no accidents. That if you scroll through this Brady Bunch feed, you'll realize that, hey, there's so many other people here that are just like you. And it's a pretty cool place to be. So I welcome you all for being here, but step in to what Life Force Canada represents. And with that, I yield.
Thank you, Dwayne. Powerful words, as always. Sherry.
Thank you. I just wanted to mirror what Dwayne had said and seen invitations today. And I've had at least 10 calls or messages from people who want to speak because they're feeling particularly hopeless around the mandates, or frustrated and powerless. And what I've said to them is I don't have certainty around the outcomes of Life Force, but what I love about Life Force is that I'm actively involved in planning a future I want to be part of and participate and see in the world. And so I loved your words at the beginning, Karen, and I can support what you're saying, what Dwayne is saying as well. This is a place for hope and envisaging of the world we want to live in. And running so many people, I just feel this is such a beautiful and safe haven to be in, and great energy to be in. And one of the things, I always say, an organization, you can basically blame or give attribution for the leadership of how it manifests. And Karen consistently shows up and holds space for people. And no matter how stressed or, angst ridden people are, or, our own personal agendas that come into it, she just seems to manage to lead with an equanimity that I certainly admire and certainly aspire to have one day. And I think to be in that space where someone's demonstrating that kind of leadership is, I mean, it's rare right now and it's incredibly powerful. So that's just kind of my 2 cents that I wanted to add in. It's probably worth 25 cents at least, I'm sure. But what I also wanted to do is one of the people I invited tonight asked me to ask a question. And she said, she's basically saying, with the emergency orders lifted, how is what they're doing right now even legal? And with that, I yield. Yeah.
Thank you, Sherry. It's not legal. It's unlawful. It's crimes against humanity. And the only power they have is what we, the people, have given them. And until we say no, they're going to continue to do what they do. And it is shifting. It is shifting. And this is why we are here. This is why we created Life First Canada, is to know that we are not here to comply. We are here to rise up out of the fear, because they want to keep us in fear. And the more we are thinking that, right, it's the devil and the angel on the shoulder, and they're feeding this part, right, the devil in our shoulder that says, oh my gosh, what if this happens to me? What if this happens to me? What if I can't? What if I can't? What if I can't? And as we are saying those thoughts, it's really important to become aware of the negative programming that we have been indoctrinated in, and the beliefs wrapped around the fearful future, because we are powerful human beings and we are the ones that are going to be manifesting the new earth. So it's, if we can turn off the television, turn off the radio, do not listen to anything they are saying, and you come over here and you focus on, what is my passion? What is my purpose? Dwayne mentioned this too, right? What can I do? What do I want to do? And source, God, the God of your understanding, your legions of angels, right? Your intuition will guide you, and you will be safe. As David Steffen said on our call last week, amazing man. If you haven't seen that play, I highly recommend you go to our Life Force Canada YouTube channel and listen. He is so incredible. And he shared, when you are walking the path of truth, there is nothing to fear. What we're experiencing right now, it's all about us. The dark forces are gone. It is just the puppets that are still here, engaged in the Agenda 21. But they're just puppets. They have there's nothing behind them. They have no power behind them. All they have is a voice on the television. I was sharing this on Saturday. Commercials have actors, TV shows have actors, movies have actors, the news has actors. It is all acting. And we need to stop listening and thinking it's real, because it's not real. And it's real to the people who are co-creating it together. And so this is our power. We just need to step through. It's like everyone was wearing a mask because they thought they had to in a store. They thought they had to in a restaurant. I never did. I never wore a mask in any store or restaurant. So there's 8 billion realities in this matrix, 8 billion manifestations, 8 billion manifestations, right? So it's, you get to tune into, what reality do I want to focus on? And thank you, Sherry, for your kind words. I so appreciate you.
Kim is actually running a roundtable tonight just before your call. I was tuning in, and it was all about positive manifestation, not using the word not or don't or can't, and turning everything around, and the belief in and the true methods of manifestation, of believing and feeling of the reality that you want. You know, I did that little presentation on Saturday, which kind of explained the structures of the 3 different areas. I have a graphic up if you would allow me to share my screen, Karen. That might help people to understand. There seems to be some questions coming forward about what the structure is and how things work.
Yes, thank you.
Lifeforce Global is where Lifeforce Canada falls. There's very distinct sections or organizations. They all collaborate, they all overlap and interact, but they operate separately. So Lifeforce is the ambassadors for the Global Restoration Plan. They're about education and information. They've provided a GeForce networking app to connect with people. So if you sign up on from SwiftCurrent and there's somebody else from SwiftCurrent, you can connect through the GeForce app. A lot of things have kind of migrated over to Telegram as well, but and then of course what we're doing with our plan councils, but that's in a separate section. Then what Karen and Dwayne were just talking about, the Lifeforce national groups with recruiting and onboarding, and then the think tanks for these different areas. Karen, there were like, I don't know, 6,500 different trusts that she had collapsed into one. It's now called the Global Repository, but there are accounts for every country, every jurisdiction set for the assets of the people. That's where the funding, when someone asked about where does the funding come from. So for the most part, we have the opportunity to avoid any sort of personal taxation. Of course, personal taxation of labor is slavery. But we don't have to necessarily draw out of our assets entirely. We can use service type fees for services that are provided to offset. That's something that needs to be discussed. But those things are starting, it's a ways off before we start digging into the actual service oriented budgets. But so the global repository includes the quantum mapping system, which is it's an AI system, artificial intelligence system that you'll have to do some research on your own. I'm not going to go, but we've been talking about being ratified in the Hall of Records, which grants us our authority to rescind the unlawful legislation and to take back our rights. The new banking system, the key integrated monetary system, is run through the quantum mapping system. And that's where the de jure treasuries are located. Then we have the de jure plan councils or de jure assemblies around the world. They're community-based decision-making and community-authorized project funding. So when you do a needs assessment in your community, you approve the project for funding, and it goes up through the councils or assemblies are simply service-oriented organizations. They are in service to the people, to make what the people want to have happen. With the new guidance we got, there's kind of a new list of committees, but these are the basic ones: law and law enforcement, health and wellness, nature preservation and protection, needs assessment, treasury, project management, family services, and educational development. Or to enforce any of these orders that we're writing, it comes through Lifeforce Enforcement and the Global Intelligence Agency. Kim is also ground command of the Life Enforcement Forces. They are guardians of the global assets. So any national militaries would be under the authority of the Lifeforce Enforcement. And the Global Intelligence Agency, each country has an arm of the Global Intelligence Agency within their country as well. National intelligence agencies. This is all ratified through the Hall of Records and the quantum mapping system. Separate from all of that, there is of course, we know how corrupt the media is and what a role they play in spreading all of this propaganda, fear, and basically imposing the program so it is the official network of Kimberly Gogan and the Global Intelligence Agency. It is designed to, it has its own website, so it can't be deplatformed or taken off of anything. They really encourage citizen reporting, and there's a national media potential with a hosting platform and a distribution channel for material that we produce. So we're currently beginning We've been asked to form a Canada News Desk, and I'm proud to say that it's not official yet, but unofficially, Dwayne Clausen will be our messenger of the desk. So
Yay,
everybody give
Dwayne.
him a big hand. So
Official.
we're looking forward to that. It's been a summer, a busy summer with comings and goings. We're hoping that coming early into the fall, maybe by the time the election results come out, maybe we'll have an election night roundup, Dwayne. It's an informal organization. There's no membership fees. There's no requirements, except just if you want to get connected, you sign up on the website and you get the information, and we try and educate you, and we try and help connect you to other like-minded people and connect you to where the work needs to be done. The work is done in the de jure plan councils, which is all under the auspices and authority of the Global Directorate or the Global Repository. In addition, it's not on here yet because, again, this is new. There's the People's Government Services Department, which was recently formed and works directly to help set up all of the assemblies. Kelly C. is the director of that agency, and he has had half-hour meetings with every council. I think there's like 130 different assemblies around the world right now that are seeking ratification. So the man has the patience of a saint to do all of those meetings. There's a banking directorate that's also going to be ratified under Colin McClive. There was a Child and Family Services Task Force that was just announced over the weekend that will be working to reform CPS throughout the world. This is the very first and only cease and desist order that Oregon was the very first assembly that was ratified. And at the same time, this order was ratified in the Hall of Records. You can see the number here. HR, you'll notice a lot of legislation has HR on it. It doesn't stand for House of Representative. It stands for Hall of Records, 21. And it was basically the results of the equivalent of having a grand jury. They took a look at the evidence. They asked for immediate action to immediately reduce or to return water rights to farmers is what this did. So that's the idea of what they're really asking us to focus on, water issues at the moment. There is I can stop sharing. There is a global COVID order that's being done from the GIA. They know that's a global issue. It's a global program that's being implemented, that they need to address it at that level. So they don't want all of us running around doing our individual COVID orders. That's another thing, like we're all anxious. We want this to end. We want the mandates to end. We want the vax passports to go away, et cetera. But we're still waiting for sort of the major initial order to come through on a global level, and then they will give us additional direction on what we can do locally with our assemblies. So in case you're wondering if there's any power there, this is it. It's power to the people. We have the authority and we have the enforcement. Come join us. I yield.
Thank you so much for that, Sandra. It's a lot of information to take on, as a new member. However, it will make sense. Everything that Sandra's sharing, eventually one day you'll go, oh, now I get it. Now I see what she's talking about. Because it's important you keep hearing it. As you keep hearing it, it begins to integrate. And then you'll discover, oh, okay, this is what Sandra was talking about. This is what Karen was talking about. This is what Dwayne was talking about. and we just keep moving forward that way. Julie, I'm feeling you. Yes, I get it. There's so many people that are feeling fear, and we're meant to feel the fear. We're not meant to stay in the fear. So what I do is I have a book on Amazon. It's called Living in the Freedom Frequency. It's $19, but I'm going to give it to everyone here as a PDF for free. It's a really powerful book in regards to reminding you that our emotions are extremely powerful, and you have the power to transform fear, which is below the line, to above the line. So we're meant to live in the freedom frequency of life. However, because we're in this third dimensional matrix, we have been programmed to believe that we need to live below the line, which is anger and stress and anxiety, which is all fear-based emotions. So we're meant to experience all those emotions and learn from them, but we're not meant to live there. We were never meant to live in those emotions. And so that book is, I wrote that book 15 years ago. And then when the day this all happened, like, okay, now I know why I wrote the book. And so it's just here. And if you do want a physical copy, you can get one on Amazon. It's $19. I don't really get any money from Amazon at all. I may get 25 cents a book now on how they've created their system. It's crazy. But yeah, so if you want a physical copy, you can. It's a beautiful book and the cover, but there's the PDF for anyone that wants to share it, and share it with your friends, your family too, as well. Okay. What other question did I have? Oh, so a question came up in regards to, are you here to overthrow the government? No, we're not. As Dwayne mentioned too, we're not here to even fix the government. We're not here to change the government. That is a Luciferian system that's been created to not be for the people. It's been created to keep us enslaved, to keep us in a debt slavery system. Their time is over, and we just need to stop paying attention to them. And again, focus on what you want to create. Focus on your creation power. And as you focus on the new earth, they will lose their power. They only have power now because the people who believe in the authority outside themselves are giving them that power. Another question that we've had is, should I be voting in the upcoming election? I say no. If you do, you're giving consent to interact with that system. You're giving consent to being bound by its rules, which will inevitably work against you, right? So if you vote, you're really saying yes to the slavery system. So again, you can do what you want. My recommendation is to not. Again, the system is not set up to benefit any of us. And so you're sovereign. But by withholding your consent to interact in that system and refusing to identify yourself as the straw man, right, as the corporate identity that the government created using your birth as collateral, you assert the highest authority, which is you, right? Humanity continues to wake up to our true nature of being, right? We're here to remember our value as humans and our divine relationship to our world, to our creator, right? It's going to be crucial that we really remember that we're sovereign beings. And we've been talking about this, for the past year. The Oxford Dictionary defines sovereign as acting or done independently and without outside interference. And it also means possessing supreme or ultimate power. So what have we done? What have we done as humanity, as a society, the past couple of hundreds of years, right? When we assign sovereignty, we've assigned it to institutions, to nations, or to the monarch. So we cannot also consider ourselves sovereign if we believe they are sovereign. If we see the monarch as sovereign, what happens is then we see ourselves as lower than, right? We see ourselves as subjects. And the word subject is defined as lying beneath. And when we consider ourselves as subjects, right, we assume the role of slaves. And this is not who you are. And they have inverted this reality. And as you can see it more and more every day, right? They've inverted the reality. What's good, they've created to be bad. And what's really bad, they're saying is good. And so we have to get clear with ourselves. What reality do I want to live in, right? Do I want to live below the line in fear, or do I want to live above the line and really claim my sovereignty and claim my freedom? We are powerful beyond our imagination. And we're here to remember that. So does anyone have any questions? Anything they'd like to share? Any comments? Alan?
I really appreciate you guys putting on that do on Saturday. I met a couple really good guys that I could work with. So as I said, find your passion, everyone. And we got a hell of a good team here. Lots of fun, and we're going to make it happen. That I yield.
Thank you so much, Alan. And yeah, just to let everyone know, this is what we're just discussing earlier is we're bringing food security back to all the provinces. And so this is a large, I think it's a 70-acre greenhouse. Sunterra Farms has a facility, a large greenhouse already. However, they're still a US company as well. And we are wanting to bring food security so that we have fruits and vegetables for everyone. And this is for people who are not able to grow their own food. And so on our food supply think tank, we talk to everyone in regards to how you can transform your garden and get your own greenhouse from vertical farming, vertical gardens to permaculture to the, as assisting the farmers in regards to creating natural food sources instead of, letting go of the Roundup and GMO. So it's a big project, and we talk about this on our food and supply call on Fridays at noon, and so you'll be receiving that information, and anyone's invited to those calls. Okay, Sandra.
Thanks. I was just scrolling the messages so I was just going to address a couple things there. No, we're not associated with Romano Didulos, although someone has already responded to that. What do our cease and desist orders look like? We have one written up that we had submitted, and they said it looked good, but nothing's really gone with it yet. Nothing's really happened with it yet in regards to protect waters from the eastern slopes of the Rockies from coal mining, open pit and strip mining of coal. So if you're really interested in what's happening with the order writing, when is that happening, Karen, with Steve?
That is on September 3rd. It's a Wednesday evening.
And so when they say that we're supposed to, that is related to water, there's the fluoride in Calgary's water plebiscite coming up in Calgary at the election. So that would be a good one for if there's a Calgary Assembly put together, or even the Provincial Council could look at that one. We have a Slack, it's another application that's used for communicating where people it involves a lot of research. I know Tim, our recording secretary, Tim Mullally, has been doing a ton of research. It's about finding how it is that they've removed our rights and what is the legislation that we need to rescind or address to take it away. So even in the case of, for example, the lockdown, the federal government has used the Quarantine Act. They haven't used an Emergency Act because that automatically triggers an inquest into why they're using emergency measures. So they've been very crafty in avoiding that. However, and then the provinces, all within about a month of each other, or a few weeks, all used emergency health, different sort of versions of emergency health orders or an emergency act to install the lockdowns. So we have to do the research to find that kind of legislation to respond to. So there's a lot of research involved. Someone has responded to Elizabeth in regards to United News Network for $4.99. That's $4.99 US a month. So for about $6 a month, you get a ton of information. That's what I wanted to respond to. I yield. Thank you.
Thank you, Sandra. Marie.
Good evening. Thank you very much, everyone, for the wonderful information. I'm finding it very helpful, and I've been on a number of calls, so I really appreciate the info. Just a general question, and that is, at this point, would you suggest that we should be encouraging other people to join and therefore join the assemblies? Or because I'm getting a little bit conflicted, I guess, information, because on one hand, I feel like our assembly wants to stay below the radar. But on the other hand, if we don't encourage people to join, do we stay somewhat hush hush about this until assemblies are ratified? Like, what is the general, I guess, advice? Because I'm feeling a little bit conflicted about it.
Thank you, Marie. I completely understand where you're coming from. Right now, I would be letting people know, 100%. Yeah, we need more people coming on board and saying yes to being a council member and an officer. And again, the roles of officers, none of us have ever done anything like this before, and we're learning every day. So it is an education. The amazing thing is that when anyone says yes, then all of a sudden that something within begins to activate, and all of a sudden you just are doing what you are meant to be doing, and everything just begins to flow. So yeah, Marie, I would continue asking for people to join 100%.
Okay, thank you for that. I feel from day one when I've joined the Canadian Assembly, I have to say to all of you, it's very welcoming. It's been wonderful to be part of this. I feel that connection that others have talked about, and I certainly really appreciate weekly meetings. I really feel welcome, and I feel like informed. So I really appreciate the information that you bring forward with all of the effort for, I know it's not just you, Karen, but it's everyone else beside you as well. And I really appreciate all the work that you all do. So thank you.
Thank you so much, Marie. We appreciate you as well. Hi, Brian.
Okay, thank you. In regards to that last question about people signing up, the key, most important thing, in my opinion, is that we get numbers. There is nothing more powerful than, for us, than the numbers. If we're going to be engaged in basically this could be called a war, we need the numbers. There was also another question. Linda Irwin had posted in there, are we working in coordination with other groups? And I don't really want to speak on behalf of anyone in general. I just want to share my experience. I was with a different group, and my group was a little bit in battle with a lot of other groups. And Karen came in, and Dwayne also came in later, but she was very inviting and pleasant, and not really there to say steal membership away, but just wanted to encourage people. And we've since, well, Life Force has since invited like Lawyers for Truth to come in, and a small town group to come in, and other groups that have come in. And working with all these other groups is something that was definitely an improvement from the group that I was with. So we're not necessarily working hand in hand with other groups, but we are definitely cooperating and using these resources. We do not have ill will against other groups. We have our own agenda, and we will stick to that, I imagine. And if they're supportive or not supportive, that's up to them. But we do not have, I say we, like I have so much say about this, but what I've seen is there is no ill will to other groups. This is more or less inviting to other groups, and it's been a positive experience that I've seen from the group that I was in. With that, I yield.
Thank you so much, Brian. Always appreciate you being here. Jeff, great to see you.
Thank you, Karen. As always, appreciate your leadership and the stuff that you share here every Monday. It's great learning place. With that, I just wanted to share my experience with the Ontario Council. I've been very busy over the past 3-4 weeks. We're vetting a whole bunch of new members. We've had so many registrations on our website. I am finding it very difficult to keep up with. In the past 3 weeks, I may have gone through interviews with at least 25 different people, new people that have joined the site. I want to become members. These are beautiful people, I can tell you. who are looking to find a platform where they can come and voice their opinions, because a lot of them have lost family, they've lost friends to the current situation that they're all experiencing. We are all experiencing as a whole here in Canada and around the world. And they're looking for a place where their voice can be heard, and they bring great skill sets. So I think this is probably going to increase. People are getting to notice us more. People are going to be joining. I've done about 25 interviews in the past 3 weeks. I got another 15 or 18 to catch up with. I can see the speed of this increasing. I believe people are looking for a platform to connect with like-minded people, and I can sense that this is probably happening across Canada. I know Ontario is a larger province. There's one girl from Canada Post who's the lead for the president union in Lindsay, and she said, I got a whole bunch of other people that I want to bring in. I said, yeah, go to the website, get them registered, and somebody will connect with them. So I see this is going to probably exponentially increase in terms of numbers. Give it a few more weeks, months, and this is going to become a busy place. And with that, I yield.
I so agree, Jeff. I met a woman on Saturday and she said, I love what you're doing. She heard our presentation at Sandra's and she said, I'm going to be letting everyone know about Life First Canada. So I think there's going to be more and more people that are going to be saying those same things as well. So thank you, Jeff, for that.
Yep.
Thank you for all you're doing there.
Oh, you're welcome. Thanks for you and for your leadership.
Thank you. It's Christina.
Hi, Karen. I'm fairly new to this, and I want to say thank you so much for giving this platform for all of us and all the work that you've done up until this point. I'm from Vancouver, or that's where I am now, and we started a creative conscious community group probably 2 years ago when we saw this coming. So between, I don't know, starting with 3, we now have 240 members. So it's a growing concern. And I think that to come into the larger platform where there's actually some, even more structure. So we've created, we have a legal info, it's mostly on Telegram where we're doing it, but we also get together in person. So we have an announcement group of health and well-being, co-housing, ride shares, food and growing, family fun group, and an organizational council. But we're bursting at the seams too, because there's so many people wanting to, get information, and how do we really get organized in a sense without getting over organized? Because I'm also part of, Josh Del Sol is a friend of mine. He did the movie Take Back Your Power. And he's also someone that's very instrumental and integral in helping people reclaim their power. And this started with smart meters, and now it's moved on to 5G and things like that. So he has a law for mankind that he does as well. And then I also am friends with Foster Gamble of the Thrive Movement. And the Thrive Movement is global. And it's something that I just really love being with Foster Gamble, because he's got the bigger picture of what's going on in international levels, as well as what's going on in each individual country. So, and he's interviewing David Icke on September 11th. So these are really instrumental key people and players that are making a difference in bringing humanity to the forefront of knowing that we are the ones we've been waiting for, and it's time to really claim our personal power and our sovereignty. I have many stories I could tell about how I learned about sovereignty, like getting beat up by a police officer and things like that, where I had to really claim it. But I find that, is it beneficial to have these groups aligned in some way, that where they all come together and it becomes a much more larger kind of force? And then the other part of that is, which I agree, do not vote and do not contract with them in any ways. And that's how I got through the border. I said, no, thank you to PCR test, no thank you to the quarantine, and no thank you to everything they offered me, no thank you to the ticket. So once we know the lingo and the languaging of using sovereignty, we actually can rise up in a way, and it's going to be easier when we're rising up in unity. Then the other side of that is, if you get too big, does it become a target? Or does it matter at this point? You know, because if Derek Bros, who's another friend, and he's got the conscious resistance and the freedom cells in Mexico that are also expanding all over the world, where we get together in groups of 8 and you really solidify and unify, and everyone's got each other's back. So someone's doing permaculture, another group of 8's doing food security, and another group of 8, so that there's support in a geographical location, like in your immediate geographical location. And I think these are all amazing initiatives, including ours, the Creative Conscious Community. Would it be more beneficial for us to come under the one umbrella and become council members here? Or is it, when you get too big, or too organized, it also becomes a target?
Thank you, Christina.
Oh, and thank you to my best friend, Betsy Swale, who invited me. I've known her since grade 3, so.
As we move forward in regards to our plan councils, we want to create every town to have their own council. And so it's similar to a town council, but instead of any council member saying you must wear a mask, you must get vaccinated, you're not allowed to shop in this store, you're not allowed to shop in that store. We're taking all those people and they're exiting our sovereignty. They're exiting out of what we're creating, and we're plugging in people who are sovereign and are for the people, who are for humanity. And so, yes, we need as many people to come on board, because then as towns begin to create their plan councils, and cities, right, begin to create their sovereign councils, then we have power. And then we can all get ratified through the Hall of Records. And there's only one Hall of Records on this earth plane, and that's what Kim Gogan is in charge of. So anything that's ratified through there, we don't do our cease and desist orders to the government. We send them to Kim, because that is the law. It's not the legal system. The legal system is not here to support us. So that's the power that Sandra was referring to in regards to Life Force Global. Is that it's not just us in Canada. It's not just you and wherever you live. You have a force behind you in Life Force Canada as well. And so we would love for all, I do believe eventually, I think we all do believe that eventually we're all going to find a way to unite. And because we can only do this in togetherness. We only are going to rise together. And so we just have a structure here that can create councils and a system where then everyone in your town can be a part of it, and in your county and in your region. And so this is where the power is. And we show you how to create those councils. As Jeff was saying, you know, he's in Ontario, and so he's been interviewing people to step into their councils in Ontario. And so every province is doing the same thing as well. Sandra, you can probably add more to that. So yeah, Christina, we would love to chat with you more. I love what you're doing, 100%. I think it's great. And if it speaks to your soul,
it
does.
Yeah,
that's all that matters, right? Because yeah, we have some amazing projects, and the projects that we're all creating, this is where these projects can get funding through the Life Force Global as well.
Great. Thanks so much, Karen.
Thank you. Tanis, and I would love for Tanis to share about the cease and desist that she's creating too.
Oh, absolutely, Karen. So Whitecourt and Woodlands County are both creating cease and desist orders on behalf of our towns and for Alberta as well, as a provincial cease and desist on glyphosate, which is better known as Roundup, and the fluoridation in our town water, because that's also a very large issue. Alberta is one of the biggest or most used fluoridation places in all, I think we should 3 other provinces. But so, and we're also doing A5G as well, which is also an issue. But so we're working on those 3 main those are our three main focuses for the cease and desist that we'll be bringing forward. Like I said, on behalf of our town and county, as well as Alberta. But also, like with projects and stuff, like thank you, Alan. We are still working towards having that EPL, the Earth Power Lodge, which is an amazing thing. And of course, doing a vertical gardening place, because we do need to take care of our own community and each other. So with that, I yield. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Janice. Yeah, if anyone wants to learn more about the Earth Power Lodge, there was an episode that interviewed Grant. It comes from the documentary We Must Grow. I think you can find it on the Thrive Network. Sandra.
Okay, I'm just going to go quickly through some of the questions. Someone had asked, how do we be sure we don't get infiltrated negatively? That is something to be aware of. There is a vetting process. There's an application membership form for each of the plan councils. And then there's just a little bit of a questionnaire. Most people that are coming to us are very well aligned. But we have been cautioned about things to look for of any of the dark forces that could purposely want. I just also wanted to explain from a plan council perspective, everyone so for instance, on a provincial level, everyone in your province is a member of the Greater Assembly and they all have a say. We can't write legislation, we can't create new laws, because you have to go to a vote of the entire province in order to do that. Eventually, maybe that will have grown or acquire that authority. But at the moment, all we can really do is rescind bad laws, because it's the equivalent of doing a grand jury decision where we look at the preponderance of evidence and we go, yes, we're intelligent people, we can understand this and we can make this distinction and make that and vote on the call. So every move that we make as a plan council can be a bit annoying because you have to put a motion forward for everything, but that's why sometimes the business meetings can be a little dry. But we're doing the best. As Karen said earlier, we're learning as we go. Karen's always going to have this Monday night call. And this will be the purpose of what the Life Force Canada is education. And we'll probably have to have another call like this to educate the new members that come along. But yes, and that's where the problem starts to happen with wearing so many hats. Our life is on Zoom, right, Karen? But yeah, so the more that you can start working within your own communities, Tanis has her own community in Whitecourt that she gathered a group of people together and they meet privately. There's the Medicine Hat group, they meet privately. They have their own council. We all come together in the Alberta Plan Council meetings. We have our plan councils across Canada. We're very heart-centered and we are showing that we're working together. We're forming, we've got all of the infrastructure to form the National Council. I think we're probably more aligned with the goals and objectives that have been laid out. How do these groups come together? Should they? Sounds like Kim wants them to. Of course, we all want them to. I mean, even Karen could probably go into, she's been doing some work with Indigenous groups as well. They're definitely not on the same page as yet. But they're looking at their form of sovereignty. They've applied for ratification as their own. They already have existing councils based on natural law. Maybe Karen, you want to talk a little bit about from the Indigenous perspective, but yes, that's our goal. We would love to work with everyone. But we're just following the direction that's coming from the Global Directorate. We're signing the forms they want to form. We don't have any other agendas other than to serve the people. We're not trying to impose a constitution. We're not trying to impose anything else. So our intentions are pure. I think we have an advantage.
Thank you, Sandra. I love it. And I would not be here if it wasn't for Sandra, that's for sure. She has given so much of her time, her heart, and she's just here to serve 100%. and all of us here, everyone that is in the Alberta Council, everyone that's been here since September, holding space, we're just holding space for everyone. I'm so grateful for everyone that has been showing up on this Monday call and showing up at our, our gathering on Saturday, showing up on our, in our Alberta meetings, and we're just, everyone's just doing their part, and we're getting things done, and that's the key moving forward. What I'll do is I'll speak about the Indigenous piece next Monday, if someone on here wants to remind me in the chat, because it's already 8:42, and so I trust that we've given you a lot to integrate into yourselves. And remember, okay, safety and freedom are at the opposite end of a spectrum. Okay, you are going to be called to step out of your comfort zone during this time. And your soul, your spirit, your guardian angels are here. You are already safe. You are awake and aware. You're part of the shift in consciousness. So just trust that you're going to be here to the other side. You get to enjoy the next level of consciousness of where we're going and what we're creating. So it's about really focusing on what it is you want to do, and then just doing it, right? And being it, being the love you are, being the creative force you are. And it's a very exciting process. If you can stay for the meditation, I'm going to be offering a 10-minute meditation right now. For those of you who need to go, thank you so much for doing your part, for showing up, for not complying. We love you, and we are here supporting you. And if you're in Alberta tomorrow, join us at 7 p.m. Mountain. Lots of love.